Hello everyone, welcome back to Analyze Our Games Part 10. Today we're gonna take a look at a game I played on chess.com. Sometimes we can save some games by a miracle. Yeah, but then we have to remember there's no miracle in chess. There's just good moves and good plans. So the game goes like this. My opponent played d4, I played f5, the Dutch defense, and then he played e4. That's the Staunton Gambit. It's probably one of the most dangerous lines for black. But then we have to study it. I took it on f4, e4, knight c3. That's the idea, to take on e4. Then we defend the pawn, knight f6. Then g5, bishop g5, attacking the knight on f6. g6, f3. Here's the Staunton Gambit. Then d5, defending the pawn. F takes e4. And I took on e4 with the pawn, but better would have been to take with the knight. Knight takes e4, then knight takes, d takes e4, bishop b5 check, knight c6, d5, a6, bishop a4, b5. It looks like the Ruy Lopez. Bishop b3, knight e5, and knight e2. That's kind of equal position. Black is okay here. Okay, but then I made this little inaccuracy. I took on e4 with the pawn. Then bishop c4. That's a good diagonal for the bishop. Knight c6. We have an equal position, equal game. d5. Knight e5. d4, queen d4. It's maybe better to check on b5, and then bishop d7, bishop takes, queen takes d7, queen d4, knight f7, bishop takes on f6, e takes f6, knight takes, queen e7, pinning the knight, and long castles, and knight f3. And here again, it's a little bit better for white, but I think black can hold here. It would have been a mistake to take on f6 because of this pin. Now the queen pinned the knight because of the knight, and then taking on a7, queen takes on f6, check here. Now the king goes to the middle of the board, but it can find shelter on f or ace, someplace here. Bishop, queen b4 check. Now we can interpose, put the queen in front of try to exchange queens, check again, and now king f8. And now it's probably good here. Black can win this game after some problems here. Okay, but then after queen d4, I exchanged the bishop. Of course, as I'm being attacked, I have to exchange as much as possible. Queen takes on c4, a6, avoiding the jump to b5. Now long castle, bishop g4, g7, knight takes on e4, queen takes. See, the pawn, as it was sacrificed in the beginning of the game, is now taken by white. Castles. I thought probably during the game I didn't see this, but here f5, bishop f5 would have been much better. And then there are some variations here. Now black is able to block the pawn and develop the pieces, or castle's long or castle short, and black is okay here. But after short castle, knight f3, white is a little bit better here. Then instead of bishop, this is a little that's not the best option here, bishop f6. Better would have been to play bishop f5, again attacking the queen and trying to exchange some pieces. Then in case of queen taking on e7, then we exchange here. Black is a pawn down, but the position is okay. Then after bishop f6, my opponent played bishop h6, taking control of the good spot on h6. Then I played rook e8. Better again is to attack the queen and make it move. Then in case of queen f4, then rook f7, knight g5, bishop takes, queen takes, and queen d6. White is a little bit better, but black is okay, I think. And then after rook e8, my opponent played g4. This is a good move because it avoids my bishop going to f5. Then I moved my queen to d6, h4. See, as there's attack coming on here. We have to protect, we have to defend this. I played e6. I was trying to develop my pieces and exchange some, but it was not easy because of my mistake not playing bishop f5. Here my opponent attacks my king. He wants to open up the h diagonal, the column, and attack my king. Then I played bishop d7. This is a good move because now my rooks are connected and I can exchange on e5, d5. My opponent took. I took with the pawn, attacking the queen. Then my opponent took on h7, check. King h8, queen d3. Now I had the opportunity to take on g4, and I was trying to eliminate as much as possible to try to stop his attack. Rook dg1, attacking my my bishop, and I tried to defend it, but it was a mistake. Better would have been to defend with the rook by playing rook e4. And then after knight g5, queen f4 check, queen d2, bishop takes, queen d2 check, queen takes d2 check, king takes, and rook f8. White is better, but I think it's possible to keep going, keep playing and not lose the game. But this move was a mistake already. Queen e6 was a mistake. Then my opponent, if my opponent had played knight g5, then my game would be lost, because of even exchanging the queens wouldn't solve my problems. Here, for example, we have the check here, and then if I take, there's this discovered check, and now the problem is that my bishop on g4 is lost. There's no way to defend it. White is better, white wins. But fortunately for me, my opponent made a mistake here by playing knight h4. Then I took it, of course, because I have to eliminate as much as possible and try to hold the situation, hold the position. My opponent took there, and I saw this wonderful check here on e1. And then he took with the rook. I took again. King d2, that's the only move here. Rook d1 check. Now I can exchange the rooks, the queens and rook, and it's good for me. King c3. If he had played king e3, wouldn't change much, because I would take the queen on d3 and take here. Bishop f5, bishop e4, and I can take on h7. White is a little bit better, but I think it's a draw again. But my opponent played king c3. I took his queen. He retook it with the pawn. Bishop attacks the pawn on h7. My opponent wanted to mate me. The idea is to play bishop d4 and checkmate. But now I can take the pawn, the dangerous pawn. Now he checked on d4. Now my king can escape, can go, run. Rook g4 check, king f8, rook g7, attacking the bishop. Bishop f5, and it's an equal position. Rook takes on c7, and now I can exchange the rooks and force the draw. He checked on c5, king e8, rook takes c8 check, bishop takes, king d4, trying to win the pawn, but then I played again bishop f5. He took on d5, I took on d3, and now the position is symmetrical and the draw is inevitable. King d6, trying to get the pawns on b7 and a6. King d8, check on b6, and king c8, and we agreed a draw. I think it was a very nice game, because I could, after a very strong attack, I could defend it accurately, and after my opponent's mistake, I was able to draw the position just by exchanging all the pieces and going to a drawn endgame. I think it's important to study and to see the phases of the game where we can improve, and my opening was not perfect this time, but I could draw anyway. Thank you very much. Study and practice chess.